Oh, and once again, I forgot to change the background. Jeez, every time I switch, it's always a problem, isn't it? Anyways, Fields of Fire Deluxe Edition here. We're going to be doing some more of the training manual from the new Deluxe Edition. Fields of Fire by Ben Hull and made by GMT Games. So if you have the game, you can follow along with their company manual that you should get in the box. If don't already have the game and you're interested, you can download this from the GMT webpage and you can follow along with what we're doing to kind of help see what's going on as we go through this. We are going to be starting on page number 34. Page number 34 with the company assault. Company assault is what we're going to be going through. In this one, we're going to be taking several platoons. So now we got first platoon and second platoon, and now you're going to get to see how orders happen with your company headquarters. Are going to be passing out orders to multiple different things, and we also have some new units that we're going to talk about here as well. So let's go here and bring it up. It's just no, it's not that one. Sorry. Let's see, which one is it? Tabletop Simulator. That's what it is. That's the tickets. Move this down over there. All right, Richard Kerr, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see everyone. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Okay, so we are in the Tabletop Simulator. Yep, everything looks like it's working there. Good, good, good. Just trying to get on my screens and everything working over here. So we're going to be starting on page 34, and we're going to talk about the Company Assault course. So we're going to build on the lessons you learned from the previous courses. I've got it set up like it is in the rule booklet. But basically, we are going to have the first platoon with first squad, second squad, third squad, and each of the squads are going to get a light machine gun, a AT, which I don't have over here for some reason. That's kind of crazy. That must be these. Okay. All right. And the first platoon is going to get an artillery forward observer. Then for second platoon, they're going to get first squad of the second platoon, second squad of the second platoon, third squad of the third platoon. They're going to get a light machine gun. They are also going to get an AT, and then they're going to get the mortar forward observer. We're also going to have our company headquarters, and we're going to have a mortar section. So mortar section here. We're going to talk about that. Alright, so a mortar section is a powerful unit with various special rules. They're covered in details in our rules 7.3.2. But for now, the rules that we're going to be following are these are going to be like regular units. Unless they're otherwise engaged, mortar section open fire with their basic volume of fire, which is a heavy, as you can see by the H on the left-hand side. So they're a heavy fire. A mortar section cannot fire while it's exposed, meaning when it moves, it doesn't automatically fire. Mortar sections cannot infiltrate. Mortar sections and smaller one-step mortar teams cannot fire from wooded terrains. Mortar sections can also be ordered to fire indirectly. which means if somebody else is spotted to it and they have communication with that unit, then they can call in the units. All right, so the other thing that, so that's kind of that rules there. The other thing is with this scenario, we will be adding in some random placement of the units, the enemy units. So we're going to go back to the beginning here. Let me just make sure we didn't miss anything. Richard Kerr, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. So we got our new units, blah, blah, blah. We get the map set up. All right, enemy setup. So for the first run, so they want you to run through this several times. So first time what they want you to do is the enemy is going to have a rifle squad in each trench, and a light machine gun in a bunker, and another light machine gun in a foxhole. But they want you to place them randomly based upon drawing cards out and getting the results. So the bunker will either be in column 2 or column 3. Then the foxholes will be in column 1, 2, 3, or 4. And the bunker placement direction. The objective of this is to use your 2 platoons to eliminate all enemy units on the map. There are no ammo restrictions on any units, and all of our units start at line experience, which again is normal experience. You got veterans, which are better units, and then you have green units, which are worse units. In this scenario, everyone's just normal line unit. We have, there are unlimited fire missions available. The mortar forward observer can call in, the mortar and the artillery forward observers will be drawing 2 cards to see if they make contact for an attempt to call in. The mortars are going to be calling in 81 millimeter mortars, which are -3 volume of fire, and the 105 millimeter artillery is called in by the artillery request. That is a -5 VOF, so very powerful attack. The company headquarters may also attempt to call for fire from either the mortars or the artillery, but with only 1 card draw. And battalion fire missions are not available. That is all on page 36. I'm just going through this step by step to outline things and show things off. All right, on this first run, the company headquarters is always in communication with the platoon headquarters and with its mortar section. The enemy is using deliberate defense tactics. In the enemy action phase, enemy units will ignore any remove unit and place a PC marker. So basically, in the normal game, when enemy units show up and then the enemy units don't have anyone to fire on, you would remove that enemy unit and put a PC marker on, because that unit either goes away or it moves, or, it's just not there anymore. In this scenario, none of that's going to happen, because we could just engage the enemies and then just walk away and pretend like we're not there, and then the enemies would walk away, and then we would complete the scenario. Obviously, we wouldn't learn anything from that. All right. Since we are not using the potential contact markers anymore in this scenario, we don't have to worry about potential contact draws. We're not going to track the current activity level, because we're not going to be doing draws for any of that. Okay, without further ado, we'll go through the step-by-step example. In this playthrough, it's going to just show us the first couple turns, which is going to actually take quite a while to get through, actually. Okay, so having set up the map, we place the enemy squads in trenches in row 3 and draw an action card to determine the position of the light machine guns in the bunker and foxhole and on the rows 2 or 3. We draw a 1 for bunker placement. So that's going to be column 2, and for 3 for its direction. And we find a 3 for the foxholes. Bunkers have a limited fire arc. Units inside cannot fire at point blank and cannot shift fire to a different direction. So before we begin, let's talk about the map. So we got some woods up here on a hill, way up in the north. Let me get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. We have the orchard that has a light machine gun here in the bunker. And then we have a unit here in a trench. Of course, these guys are unspotted. We do know their position. We do know what they are. We know their location. We just haven't been able to spot them. Over here, we have some woods with, again, an unspotted enemy unit in a trench. We have some woods over there. We have some gullies, orchard, grove, and then on the hill over here, in an open field, we have a light machine gun, or we have a machine gun in a trench. Again, unspotted. We have a gully here, and then we have an open field, a marsh, a woods, and an open fields. So these units here can basically see anywhere except for this spots. Again, they can see down this way. They can see over this terrain because of the fact that they're on the hill. So they can see over that orchard grove into the gully. So those 2 units, you can see into this space. You can see into this space, and this space because they're all adjacent. But I cannot actually see into this space because, again, in fields of fire, you don't zigzag your line of sight. This unit here can see into this hex, but they cannot see any farther. And they can see into this hex, and they can see into this hex. Now this guy, fortunately for us, there's a huge hill here, which is blocking this machine gun coming from the bunker. If this hill wasn't here and it was just open field, this guy would be able to shoot all the way down into here. So fortunately, there's a little hill here that's blocking its view. So it's only going to be able to see into this hex, and this one. And same thing with this guy. He can only see into this one, and this one because of the hill. So pretty much everything is going to be spotted by this guy here, which is going to be kind of a problem. And they go through all that on page number, oops, I got to click back on the PDF over here so I don't zoom in as well. On the line of sight talks about that on page 37 of your manual if you're following along. All right. So in our staging area, we're going to set that up with, looks like first platoon is going to come over here. And they're going to have their 3 squads. And their light machine gun, their artillery, and their AT. Where the company headquarters and the mortars section there. And then, of course, oops, come here, you. Second platoon coming down with their squads. Light machine gun, AT, and a mortar. Okay, obviously we have a left and right border. This is our line of departure right there. And then this is our line of advance. We cannot advance farther than that. So if other terrain pieces come in, we will not be able to go into them. All right, here we go. So again, we're going to be following along with this here. I do like to clone this with lots of little cubes because I like to, talk about the different actions we are doing and we are not doing. So again, we have not started using event headquarter events. So we don't do this first section. Second section is only for defensive missions. We're not doing a defensive mission. So we completely moose that. We'll move on to the battalion headquarters, which again, there is no battalion headquarters on the maps. They would automatically activate the company headquarters. And so we're going to start with the company headquarters impulse. All right. And because the battalion headquarters is giving us orders, we get to look at the big little helmet instead of the little helmets. Whoa, I keep doing that. I don't mean to do that. I apologize. I'm just trying to get the view right for you guys. Okay, so again, you would only draw one card to get this, but I'm going to draw cards until I match what's in the rule booklet. So, oops, I can just draw a card. No, no, no. All right, there we go. There we go. We'll pretend I just drew this card. Boom. Oh my God, we only got one order. We only got one order. And this is going to be important to teach you how to do things. So the company headquarters is now activated. All right, so but it's only got one order. Again, we're not keeping track of potential contacts. Normally, again, right, if you are no contact, you would get a +1. But because they're not using this, you won't get any bonuses here. All right. So the first, the company headquarters is going to spend its one command. It's going to spend its one and only command to activate the first platoon. And he is going to be completed. That's all he had. One order. Spend his order on first platoon. Okay. Now first platoon has been activated by the headquarters. So we will go to the next piece. All right, so platoon headquarters that were activated by the company headquarters. There we go. So we're now in this section right here. So we will draw an order to find out how many orders our platoon headquarters is going to receive. He's been activated. We don't know how many commands yet, so I should put him not on the board yet, just that he's activated. All right, and so I'm going to draw cards. All right, so we're going to draw cards until I match what's in the rule booklet. There we go. So I'm going to put these other cards back in because the extra cards. All right, so we had one order that we had for our company headquarters, and now for our platoon headquarters, again, 3 orders, because it was ordered by a hierarchy, right? Someone higher in the chain. So the first platoon was activated by somebody higher. You get to use the big helmet. Otherwise, if they're doing it on their own or they weren't activated by somebody else, you're using the little helmets. All right, so first platoon has 3 activations that they can perform. All right. All right, I think our basic plan is to distract the light machine gun on the hill with a small force from first platoon taking cover in the marsh while moving our real attack force in from the more exposed side once it's busy. This diversion should work. So what it's saying to do is, we know this guy, as soon as he sees somebody, he's going to open up, right? We know that. We know he's here. We know where he's at. As soon as we move somebody there, right? As soon as we move somebody, this guy's going to open up. But maybe if we get enough of our forces moved up, he'll be busy shooting at the unit that's here, that we can use other units to maybe take him out or, do some damage to him, whatever. All right. Which is super good. So the obviously, if I move like a big old squad up there, a 3-step squad, that guy's going to be coming under fire. We don't want to do that. There's no, 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 no. You do not want to do that. What we want to do is we want to pull a lat team. So we're going to remove part of our squad and we're going to create an assault team. That takes an order to do that. It's not free. It takes an order to do that. So boom. So now we're down to 2 orders. And again, just to reiterate, in case you have not been following along on this, there are assault teams, there's fire teams, there's litter teams, and there's paralyzed teams, and then there's casualties. Casualties are the worst. Paralyzed are the second from the bottom. Not much you can do with them. Litter teams are third from the bottom. Then you have fire teams, which are kind of fourth from the bottom, and then assault teams, which are kind of fifth from the bottom. And basically the difference between assault teams and fire teams is how much they can shoot and where they can move. And you always want to create an assault team if you're looking to move into other territories. The problem with fire team is they are not allowed to move into an area that has enemies or isn't been explored or has a volume of fire marker on it. So they're not good at scouting areas. They're trying to find enemies or, do all that stuff. The good thing about fire teams are they have a C rating, so close, so they can shoot into an adjacent card. The problem with assault teams are they are point blank, which means they can only shoot at units in their hex, in their location. So the first platoon headquarters is going to go ahead and deploy a team from the squad, and it's going to be an assault team. Takes up 1 action. Second action is to tell these guys, go get them, boys, and they're going to move right in there. Now, we should know this by now, but I'm going to grab a couple more of these because we're probably going to need them for other things. All right, anytime you move somebody that is going into a new territory, they're going to be exposed unless you infiltrate. But you can only infiltrate in certain situations. There needs to be a volume of fire on your card or in the card that you're moving into. There's no volume of fire on these, and there's no volume of fire here, but there is now. Oh, I keep doing that. I got to click on the PDF. All right. As soon as this guy moves up here, and I mean immediately as soon as he moves up there, the enemy unit will immediately open fire. Again, this game is very unique in that you never tell units, I shouldn't say never, that's not a good example. You hardly ever tell units to open fire. They will automatically open fire. And same thing with the enemies. They'll automatically open fire as soon as they spot somebody. They have line of sight. There's no issue. He can see them clearly. Boom, boom, boom. Now, if these guys were over here, like if they were over here, they would not be able to see us at all. So we can move up here. And in fact, these guys wouldn't be able to even be shot because these guys can't see him. These guys can't see him. He would be great. So having this guy in the heel over here is going to be a problem. So he immediately puts down a PDF marker, and along with that, we're looking for a volume of fire marker. Now, the volume of fire that he's going to be shooting, I want to put the trench above this, kind of catty corner like that. Bottom left is their firepower, bottom right is their range. So, this is automatic fire at long range, so up to two cards. So we're looking for the volume of fire, And small arms. No, I don't want small arms. I want the other one. Where's the other one? That was on the back of this. Small arms. Nope. Guess not. Oh, maybe I have to, right, I have to go in and change the state of it. There you go. All right. Always forget that. So it is going to put a volume of fire marker on here that represents the amount of damage that that unit potentially can make. And that is the A. So automatic weapons, -1. Now remember, we don't know where these guys are. We know they're up in the field. They're on the hill somewhere in the field. We don't know where they're at. We haven't been able to spot them yet. So every enemy card will be unspotted until we can spend an action or two to spot them. Okay? So that was our second action for our platoon. Remember, first action, let's just go through them again. First action was to take that team, split them off from our squad. And the second action was to tell that squad to move forward. And now he is going to complete and save one action. That's it. That's all he was able to do. Remember before, the first couple times that we played and went through these missions, we've had tons and tons of plenty. We've been saving 5, 6, 7 different orders. Now you can see, like, if you don't get a lot of orders, you don't have a lot of orders to carry over, and you can't do a lot, super lot of stuff. All right. So that was our platoon headquarters that were activated by the company headquarters. Company headquarters activated first platoon because they only got one order. Company first platoon did its couple of actions, and now it's done. And so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing this one here, 332.A. If they were not activated during the activation segment, we're going to draw a command card and give it the modified number of initiative commands, so the smaller number. So you can see here, second platoon is still going to get to do something, but we're going to be using the little number, not the big helmet, because he wasn't activated by anyone. No one told him what to do. So the headquarters has to do it on its own. So he's going to be doing the little number. All right, so all right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a card again. You would only draw one card. You would look at the number, and that's what you get. But again, trying to match what happens in the book. So if you're following along, no. There we go. So you drew a 1. Oh boy, so that means second platoon is going to be activated, and he's going to have one action. That's all, just one little action. One command is not enough to do what we want to do, but we're going to have second platoon headquarters order the light machine gun to move forward into the open field. So you can see second platoon headquarters here. So he's thinking, again, what we're trying to do is cause this guy, flank him, outflank him. If I move this light machine gun up here, right? We still don't know where he is, but he's already shooting, so he's not going to open a fire. Nobody else can see this unit, so he's not going to be, right now, shot by somebody else. So that's the general gist of what the second platoon is going to spend his one activation, and he will be done. And he's going to tell the light machine gun to move up. And what did I not do? I didn't put an exposed marker on him. Of course, he's got to have an exposed marker. Alright, so, ooh, and I went zooming down the PDF, which is not going to be helpful at all. And I mean, at all. Alright, we are on page 39. We're on the right column if you're following along from home. And I appreciate everyone stopping in and saying hi and checking this out. Hopefully it's been helpful for you guys out there. If it has been helpful, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it, and it would be great. So, all right. The German light machine gun has not yet been spotted, so we still are under fire. We have one last chance to do something useful. So we are going to go to the... Alright, we are going to go to the company... Whoa, come on, dummy. We're going to go down to this section, which we have not looked at yet. We're going to look at the company staff initiative impulse. There's no company staff impulses whatsoever. We will go to the general initiative impulse. So we're going to draw a card. Again, you would only draw one. I'm trying to match what happens in the rule booklet. All right, so I'm going to draw a card. And for general initiative, you always look at the little number, but that's not what... There we go. All right. So they draw one for general initiative. We have one general initiative, which means one of our units takes it upon itself to do something. Try to find cover, try to spot enemies, try to do something. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try and see if this light machine gun here can spot this guy. If you can spot this guy, then this unspotted marker goes away, and both of our guys will open up on him immediately. Everyone can currently see him, not just the guy that spotted him. Everyone, basically, he calls in and says, oh, there he is right there. So if we can spot this unit, we would actually get crossfire on this guy. We would get, again, we would get the crossfire bonus for attacking him. We would be putting automatic fire on him because our machine gun is an A, automatic fire. So we'd be putting automatic fire on him. So a lot of great things by just spotting him. So we're going to try to spot him. So, right. So in the spot attempt, we look at, it starts with the base of, 2 cards. Then he's going to get bonuses and penalties. He's going to get a, let's look at the, here we go. Target is undercover. He gets a -1. The target cover has 0 cover and concealment value. So there's 0 cover or concealment value. If we look at his thing, yes, that is true. He does not have any... Oh, that's not the right... This one over here. It's a 0. He's out in the open, so we can. It's going to be easier to spot him than if you're looking through a marsh or a jungle or anything. So get another +1. He has a volume of fire with an A rating, which is automatic. So it's a +1. So he's a -1 and -1 and a +1. I'm sorry. We have a +1, +1, and a -1. So 2 plus and 1 minus. Now, so that's going to give us a +1 to our card draw. From our 2, we get to draw 3 cards So again, you always look at the number of cards, and then you adjust that up or down to a minimum of 1. So we're going to draw 3 cards, and we're looking for the word we're looking for the crosshair symbol. That's right. Good remember. Yes, the crosshair. It's not the cover on the top. It's like a little it's this little symbol right here. So we're looking for this little symbol in one of the next 3 cards. Let's draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Well, in our example, we didn't get it. But let's pretend that didn't happen. We'll try again. Let's shuffle 3 new cards. There we go. 1, 2, 3. No. Again. Whoop. Trying to simulate what's going on in the rule booklet, but the game isn't obviously helping me. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. Hey, we got it. Nice. We spotted beautiful. So we remove his unspotted marker. He's now been spotted. That is great. And immediately we're going to flip this counter over because now both of these units are going to open up on him. Oh, that's right. He is not going to. Why is he not going to open up on him? Why is he not going to open up on him? I keep forgetting. I mean, I know why. I just didn't think about it. He's only got point-blank range. He's only got point-blank range, which means he can only shoot units on his card. He can't. He sees the guys over there now, but they're too far away. But this guy will open up on him, though, and that is going to be automatic fire. I'm going to grab a couple more of these while I'm over here. There we go. And we're going to change that to automatic. There we go. So automatic volume of fire. We need another PDF marker. So our guy's going to immediately, our machine gun's going to open up on this guy. This guy's shooting at this guy. And now he's like, uh-oh, wait a minute. Calm down, everyone. So that is our general initiative. Our one order we had. We told him to spot. He spotted. And all that happened from that one action. We are done with general initiative. We will move on. All right. So we would look at enemy of higher headquarter events and enemy activation segment. So this is going to be the next one we're going to deal with. All right, what happens to the enemy? What are they going to do now that things on the board have changed? All right. So we're going to look at our enemy defensive activity hierarchy check, which is going to be here. Again, the scenario said they were, I believe it was deliberate. We look down the list to find out what might they do. Are they on the same card as an opposing unit? No. Are they in the same card as no. Do they have an A, a G, or an H? No. Are they not under fire and no line of sight to an enemy unit? Again, this would be how they would run away or disappear. But in this case, we ignore that. No. Not under fire, but as valid target along its PDF? No. Under fire but not under cover? No, he's under cover. Under fire but from a different direction than his own PDF. That is exactly what's going on here. Right? So he's shooting down here, but he's being attacked by somebody else. So, He's going to draw a 4, 1 to 4, to tell us what he's going to do. He's either going to do no action and keep doing what he's doing. He's going to try and concentrate fire in what he's doing, or he's going to try and shift his PDF to the direction of the incoming fire. All right. So we will draw a card and hopefully get a card that matches. Okay, and we're going to draw a card. And again, you would only draw one card. There we go. I finally got one. So we look at the 4, and he rolled a 1. So on the 4, he rolled a 1, which means, if we look at number 1, under fire from a different direction than its own PDF, no action. So he's going to just do what he's doing. He's already shooting. He's happy to be shooting at somebody. And so we'll see how that goes for him. All right, so that is that order done. Let's see what else we can do here. So we don't have any units that need to be captured, so we can ignore that. There's some other checking for retreating. There's no vehicles or AT or helicopters in this scenario. There is no incoming strikes right now. Neither the enemy nor us are using any artillery at this moment. So we're ignoring this, but we did that last time where you check your contacts, which is always a part of the core mechanism of the game. We would check for pin recovery. Nobody's pinned right now. So we go right to the combat effect segment. So we, in order, check every unit to see what happens with them. So normally you can just start top to bottom, left to right, and then at the end you reevaluate everything to see if anyone changes their, loses their PDF or, becomes crossfire or anything like that. So we're just going to start at the top. We'll look at the German here. He's in the open, which is good. We have a -1 for the automatic. But he's got a +2 because he's hidden in the trench. So 2 minus 1 is a +1. Oh, I'm sorry. He is not in trenches. My bad. He is in a foxhole, not a trench. I put the wrong piece there. I apologize. He's in a foxhole. My bad. So it's going to be a -1 for the automatic coming in from our machine gun, right? And a +1 because of the foxhole. So he's right at the 0. All right. So we will draw and we'll look at the 0 attack until I get the result I need. There we go. So we pinned him. We pinned him down. He's under fire. He's pinned. Not the greatest result in the world, but it's something. Where are the pin markers now? Here we go. All right, so we pinned him, which is okay. He does get a +1 on his defense, but when he's shooting, because these guys are pinned, think about what's going on. Like they're not just shooting. They're just going to town, right? They're not doing that anymore. They're kind of shooting, and then they're waiting and looking around, making sure, and then they're getting back up, setting up the machine gun, and then getting down again. So, their attacking is going to be hindered by the pin results. So, if you remember from before, when all the firepower coming in is from a pinned enemy, that might be part of this. Let's see here. That's heavy weapons. Yeah. So when you have a volume of fire that's coming in from just pinned people, instead of whatever they normally shooting, they're shooting on the +2 column. So much lighter damage. So you can see the difference here would be, instead of a -1, he would be a +2. So there's basically 3 shifts better next time. But for right now, we still have, again, you evaluate at the end. I'm just kind of going over things, and talking about why the pin is important and why, that might not seem like a great result, but it can end up being good in the long run, if that makes sense. Okay, so now we got to reevaluate our guy, Boo. So he's a +1 because he's in the marsh. He's exposed, so -1. He's got automatic fire. So it's a -3 +1 is a -2. +3, -2. You only use this on incoming mortar or artillery or anything like that, not for normal fire. So -3 +1 is a -2. So we're going to look on the -2 column. That's pretty bad. All right, we're going to draw cards. And we got it right off the bat. We got a hit. So again, we are line units. And we're going to draw. And again, you would only draw once, but I'm going to draw until I get the right result. There we go. We got AC. Oh boy. That means this guy is pretty much gone. He has been casualty reduced. Boom. And nothing but casualties left there. I guess technically this doesn't come off yet. Alright. Casualties. This step is no longer recoverable. We can get our casualties back, which will give us victory points at the end of the scenario when, for getting our guys back out of the field. But this, we can't make a 3-step platoon or 3-step squad anymore because one of those guys, their buddies are, they're not doing so well anymore. All right, cleanup phase. We're going to clean up here. Bloop. Yeah, let's clean up. There we go. So that gets rid of all the exposed markers. It should move us on to game turn number 2. We only have 10 turns to complete this mission. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. I think I did. All of this equipment is not here right now. So first platoon is now right. It comes back up here. From these saved orders, it comes up here. There we go. And we move on to turn number 2. All right. Oh, right. So we got to change a few things. Again, we update. Because this guy is pinned. It's the only firepower coming in. This automatic goes away. And volume of fire +2 is the new. Oh, also he will be pinned as well. Where is our pin marker? There it is. Okay, so now we reevaluate during the cleanup phase. We're going to do the cleanup phase. We're going to reevaluate enemies firing at cards without a valid target. Shift and cease fire. So a valid target for the enemy is never casualties. They will never shoot a casualty marker because casualties they're dead. They're wounded. They're no longer functioning. So he will automatically shift fire to anybody else that he sees. If there was multiple people, we would roll randomly to see who we would choose. Unfortunately for us, there's only one person, and that happens to be our light machine gun. So, when he does that, he will put the all pinned marker on there, because it's the only fire coming in. So we've got casualties there. We've got our light machine gun and their machine gun are going at it back and forth, going to town. Fortunately, they're all pinned, so they're not doing as well as we are. But unfortunately for us, we're also out in the open field, which isn't great either. So that is the end of round number 2. I don't think there's anything else that we need to reset mines. We don't need to worry about. It's not a defensive mission. We do not have any casualties executed. We would remove pyrotechnics, some smoke, any illumination, the exposed markers, the moved fire markers, the concentrate fire markers, the booby traps, the grenades, and the grenade miss markers. So all those would go away at this point. The only thing that we've seen so far is the exposed marker. We haven't got into pyrotechnics, smokes, or grenades, or anything like that. So you can see of all of these orders, you're only going through a couple of them every time. Now, when you play the full game, you will be doing more and more sections of this. And even in this scenario, we're going to be doing more and more sections because we're going to have things to do. But we're going to pull these off. We'll go on to turn number 2 now. All right, in a normal game, you would start drawing for headquarters actions at this point to see if your headquarters, there'd be a chart on your scenario, and it would say, if battalion headquarter event, boom, 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 roll on this chart. It might be a D6, it might be a D10. Whatever it is, you would roll for that. But again, we're not doing that. It's not a defensive mission. We can ignore that. The battalion headquarters, again, is not on the map. They're just automatically going to command the company headquarters. And the company headquarters will now draw once again to see how many activations he is going to get. Okay, so, all right, so let's see what, because the platoon headquarters commanded our company headquarters, we're going to look at the big helmet again, and you would just draw it, and normally that would be like a 5, but it's not what happens in the rule booklet, so we're going to draw cards until we get one that matches, maybe. Holy cow. There we go. So what happens in reality is, again, you would only draw one card ever for this, but I'm trying to match what happens in the rule booklet. So 3. So we get 3 orders. So once again, the company is going to get 3 orders. He is going to activate. Oh, sorry. He's going to activate. He's going to activate first platoon. He's going to activate second platoon. Yeah, see, I wouldn't move that up until they've been activated. Like, these are their saved commands, right? And so, anybody that's activated, I have on the top, and anyone that's not activated is kind of down here. So he's been activated, as well as second platoon now. Boom. So they've both been activated. There we go. And the third order he is going to perform is something completely new that we have never talked about. There we go. Is the casualty collection section. So the casualty collection section. He's going to set up a casualty collection point. The company headquarters or any staff can designate any card on the map where the headquarters or staff is located, including one of the staging area, as a casualty collection point. Any casualties on a card designated as a casualty collection point at the end of the turn are considered evacuated. So if we can get these guys over here, then they will be airlifted out, taken to medvac, and rescued, basically. You'll be awarded experience points for evacuating casualties. It's not, strictly speaking, necessary in this assault course, but it is a good practice to get into because you're going to be dealing with this for the rest of the game and all the other missions, so you might as well learn how to do it now. All right. So so that's the first, that is the 3 orders. So first platoon, second platoon, and then the casualty. So he's been completed. He is done. And he has been activated. Whoa. And he's been activated. All right. So because they've been activated, both of these have been activated, we can choose either one to start with. We're going to start with second platoon. All right. So we're going to choose second platoon. And we're going to choose the big helmet because he was commanded by the company headquarters. So he's going to look at the big helmet. And we get 4 orders. Whoa, that's nice. Now you didn't have any saves, so he's going to go up to the 4. So now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. All right. So what he's going to do is, oops, this PDF marker goes away. Nobody is shooting over here anymore. He's shooting over here now. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get the mortar forward observer here to infiltrate into this X. Infiltrate. So we want the mortar. Remember, we can't put the mortar in the woods because of the special rules for mortar sections. If you missed that, I will pop that on our screen again. That's actually the mortar section. Yeah, that doesn't apply. Sorry. My bad. That doesn't apply. But for some reason, the rule book wants us to go here in the open field. And he wants us to try to infiltrate. So that is an order. And you always start with 2 cards, and then you adjust that. So the infiltrate is what it looks like. I'm going to see if I can draw what it is. It is those like shadowy figures. It's kind of in the middle of the card. Looks like 3 or 4 guys in the shadows. That's an infiltrate action. So let's see if we get that. So we get 2 card draw to see if we get that. 1, 2. No, we don't. And that matches what happens in the rule book, actually. So we infiltrate in, but we cannot do it, unfortunately. So we will get a... Where did all my markers go? Oh, it got rid of them all. When I hit the cleanup, right? Because it put everything back in its little stacks. So I'm going to have to grab a bunch of exposed markers again because it wants to get rid of them when I use the cleanup. All right, so we're going to be exposed because our forward observer decided to not infiltrate. And the reason we can infiltrate is because there's a volume of fire on the hex or on the card you are on or the card you're entering. So because of this, he can do that. And that is an order. All right, next thing is the second order, second headquarters, second platoon headquarters is going to activate itself. And it's going to try and infiltrate forward into this space. And again, we would draw 2 cards. Ignore that card. That is what we're looking for, but in reality, we don't get it. So let's start over. So draw 2 cards. Nope, we didn't get it. So he is exposed. Okay, our platoon headquarters is exposed. There we go. And then he's going to order the second light machine gun to infiltrate forward into the gully. So he's going to then command with his third action. So first action, he had 3 orders. First order was to tell the mortar to try and infiltrate. It didn't work. Then he tried to infiltrate. It didn't work. And on the last order, which is going to flip him over, he is going to tell this light machine gun to try to infiltrate into this space here. So again, to infiltrate, you need to have a volume of fire marker on the card you're at or the card that you're moving into, one or the other. So it's valid for him to do that. And we will draw 2 cards. We'll look for the infiltration symbol. 1, 2. We didn't get it. So he moves forward. He is exposed once again. Put that like that. That's fine. He will then open up fire again on these guys because they're still visible. We know where they're at. They know where they're at. So they moved up there, but they're going to keep shooting at these guys. All right, these guys here, these Germans are like, whoa, wait a minute, what the hell is that? It's somebody over there in the gully, and they're going to open up fire on these guys. So we got a PDF marker coming in over here. And we'll rotate it around to the other way. It would have been better, but we'll do it this way. That's fine. So they're going to be shot from these guys here in the... I think it was supposed to be a trench, but I could be wrong. I'll have to double check that. So these guys are still shooting down here because they haven't been told to change fire, right? These pinned machine gunners. These guys have moved up here and have continued shooting over there. And these are the only new guys that can see them. Again, these guys have got the range of 2 cards, but again, you can't zigzag line of sight. These guys can see 2 X's, one, if there was open hexes with open white borders, this is white and this is white, he could shoot through that hex into this hex. Because of the hill, he could actually shoot this hex, actually. So this guy could shoot this hex because of the hill. This is a woods on top of a hill, which he can see. So if we were up there, he would be able to see us and shoot at us. But right now, he can't see us. He hears us over there, probably. Here's lots of activity going on. Right, and we need to know what kind. It is a A/S. AS rated units are usually armed with assault rifles and submachine guns. They place an automatic weapon fire at point blank range, meaning on their hex, on their card. Or they place small arms fire at any other range. So an AS unit, like this, will use assault fire when there's other units in the hex. You know, if they were in the same hex together, they're using submachine guns and stuff in the local hex. But because we're not, it's going to be a small arms fire coming in on us over here. Okay. And now, to really mess this guy up, our last command from oh, he had 4 orders. Wait a minute. What did he do? Hang on. Let me make sure I didn't mess this up. Command 1 was to order the mortar unit forward. Command 2 was to order himself forward. Command 3 was to move the light machine gun forward. And 4 is now. Right, so that was 1, 2, 3. And now his 4th order, which will spend him, is to tell this guy to see if he can drop artillery on this guy hex right there. If we can stop this guy from shooting us, that would be great. All right, and we're going to try and see if we can do that. 2 cards, and we're looking for the little burst icons. 1, 2. Nope. We're going to try that again. Boom, we got it. All right. So again, I'm just trying to follow what happened in the rule booklet. So we do. He ends up doing it. And so, with that, we get a... Whoa, come here, jerk. -3 pending fire mission coming in on his head. The good thing about artillery fire, as we saw in the previous episode, is when artillery fire is coming out, the units there can't shoot out of that hex because there's too much dust and smoke, and they're trying to run for the cover, and they're trying to keep their heads down and keep out of the artillery shattering debris and everything. So right, and we also get a mortar concentration check, which right, it's the green one. Right, I couldn't remember what it was. It was the green one. It's a green icon that looks like, must be over here. There we go. Water concentration, that is going to be from, I'll just choose this one, it's fine. All right, boom. All right, the German light machine gun will continue to fire until this gets switched over to barrage, boom, 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 and then at that point, his fire will no longer be leaving. But until that point, it will be. All right, first platoon headquarters. Let's get to that boy. Let's see what he's going to do. So we're going to see how many activations he's going to get. And we're going to draw, and I'm going to draw until I get one that matches. Oh my God. 4. I'm sorry. That's incorrect. Let's shuffle that up again. We're going to draw. There we go. So we got a 3 is what we're looking for. So we got a 3. Plus the order he had saved from last time is going to take him up to 4 orders. So, order number 1. Again, these guys here are going to tell order number 1 is going to tell the first squad, move forward, boys. Go up there. I am going to just move these guys up there. What happens? Yeah, they get exposed. They cannot infiltrate. It's not possible. The card that they're on, nor the card that they're going into as a volume of fire marker, so you cannot infiltrate. As soon as they go in there, though, what's going to happen? As soon as they go in there, they're going to open up on these guys right here. These guys are all of a sudden going to have a really bad day. Give me another PDF marker. There we go. Just, whoop. As soon as these guys show up, they're like, hey, there's Germans over there. Why don't we shoot at them? And the sergeant's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's get them. Open fire, boys. So as soon as they move up here, and again, you only put the best volume of fire marker on the card. A card can only be, as far as I can remember, a card can only be activated by one kind of fire. So like if you have a small arms fire, you have an automatic fire. Our automatic fire runs over, so there's no sense in putting an extra one. So he would be shooting small arms fire, which is not as good as the automatic. So I would not even put out a small arms fire, because the automatic is better. But what we will put out is this bad boy, the crossfire. Volume of fire coming from multiple different directions. We got our machine gun shooting from over here. We got the squad shooting from over here. Boom. All right, second thing we're going to do. Second order. Second order. We are going to move the artillery to move forward. They're going to be exposed as well. I need some more markers, it looks like. All right, so they're going to be exposed. Third order, first platoon is going to move itself forward. Boom. It's going to be marked as exposed. And then first platoon is going to order first squad to begin transporting the casualties. The casualty marker is then put under first squad. A pickup order would expose a unit which carried it as exposed, but the first squad is already exposed, so you don't have to worry about it. So if you order a unit that's not exposed, just start carrying casualties, they would be marked exposed. We're already marked exposed, so it doesn't matter. All right, that is our both of our platoons. That's a 4 orders. So first platoon moved first squad up, then played a artillery forward observer to move forward, moved itself forward, and then told first squad to start getting ready to move casualties. Yeah, a lot keeps you going every turn to keep you busy, that's for sure. That is for sure. So that is going to be, you're done. Boom, boom, boom. So you can see we don't have any headquarters this time that we're not activated. So that was the platoon company activation, and then the platoon headquarters segment. I didn't mark them. Again, we don't have any staff, but in a normal game, you might get the company XO or the first sergeant that would be able to help out with giving orders and doing things, but in this scenario, we do not have them. So we'll move right on to General Impulse. General Impulse. And so we're going to look at the little number because nobody's telling anyone to do this. They're kind of doing it on their own. And we're looking for a 2. Now normally we've been -1 to that, like halving it, right? But we are no longer a single platoon. We're actually using 2 platoons, so we don't have to halve it. So we actually get 2 of our general initiative orders. So we get 2 of them. All right, so the first order we're going to do is this mortars section right here is going to move up right there. They're marked as exposed, and remember, if they're marked as exposed, they don't get to fire yet, so none of their heavy firepower is coming into play yet. About these mortar sections again, moving them up is great, and they're going to be exposed. We only have a +1 there. Better to put them in the woods, but with the mortar section, there are special rules that I will share with you guys again. Alright, mortar section is a powerful unit that has various specific special rules. A mortar section cannot fire while it's exposed. Mortar sections cannot infiltrate. Mortar sections cannot fire from woods terrains. And mortar section can only be ordered to fire indirectly. So those are kind of the basic rules with it. All right, so we're going to move it up. It's going to be exposed, but maybe next turn when it's not exposed, maybe we'll need it. We'll see. All right. All right, last but not least, our second general command. That was our first one. Our second general command, we're going to have the these guys here, these light machine gunners. We're going to try and see if they can spot these guys. Alright, so he is an enemy in the trench again, in the woods. We look at our modifiers, and we have a -1 for being undercover. So we will take 1 card. So normally it's 2, but we only get 1 card. So we're going to draw it, and we're going to look for the little... Nope, didn't get it. So let's try again. That's not what I'm looking for at all. Reshuffle. Oh my god. We got the reshuffle card twice in a row. What is going on? Draw a card. That's not what we're looking for. I'm looking for... You know what I'm looking for. Hey! Boom! Look at that. We found it. We spotted him. We found him in our crosshairs. So this unit is no longer unspotted. That unit has been spotted by us. We have seen him. We've seen where he's shooting out of. We see all the bushes move in. We see where the opening in the trees where they're shooting out of. So here's what this is showing you, though, is even though this guy is now available and shooting at us, and we got plenty of firepower coming in on this. We got our small arms fire from over here. We got our mortar unit that's bringing mortars down. We got tons and tons, and we would love for this guy to like start shooting at this guy. He won't. He won't shift fire until he's been told to shift fire. And that's why you use a lot of these smoke, is to let, you will set up a smoke like anytime you see red, that means cease fire. Anytime you see yellow, it means find a new target. Anytime you see green, it means retreat. You know, you set up your commands, and that's why pyrotechnics are so important, is it helps units stop doing what they're doing so you can get them to do other things. This guy will literally sit there and fire until we tell him to stop. He will continue firing at this space. Even though we got mortars coming down, we got everything else coming down. All right. All right, the AS volume of fire for the A/S does not qualify for a spotting bonus. This is kind of a quirky rule, I think. So, again, if you look at our spotting attempt, and you would get a +1 if the unit is rated with the A. It has to be just an A. It can't be an A/S. What this is representing is the A guns are not firing until those units are in the same hexes. Because, again, there's some machine guns. They're not firing more than like 20, 30, 40 yards. You know, not very far. They're not shooting a couple 100 yards, 500 yards. They're shooting like, I don't know. So you don't get the bonus on the A/S. You only get the bonus on the A units, like over here. So that is kind of a quirky little rule, and something I didn't even know. Not that I'm an expert, but Okay, so that is that. We will then go to enemy headquarter phase. And then we go to the enemy activation phase. Alright, so we've got to determine what this guy is going to do. So the light machine gun in row 3 can be skipped. The only possible choice on hierarchy is not under fire. And no line of sight to a U.S. unit. Oh, I'm sorry, this one here can be skipped. Even though we know him, he's exposed. There's no so an enemy squad and the light machine gun in row 3 can be skipped. The only possible choices on the hierarchy is not under fire and no line of sight to the U.S. unit, the result of which would remove the unit we ignore in this scenario. The squad in row 3 and the light machine gun in row 2 on the open fields we will check for action. We randomly select a card which we'll look at by drawing an action card. On a draw of 1 to 2, we choose the squad. On a 2 of 2, we will choose the light machine gun. All right, so this guy is now, yeah, he's going to all right. We check under his hierarchy. And his so anytime an enemy unit or a pinned unit, you check under here. So he's pinned under cover. So he's going to be rolling under the pinned under cover. And he rolls a 2, which is no action. Next, we check the German squad in row 3, looking down the defense table. Again, I would draw these cards. So we were checking to see whether this guy is going to activate first or this guy. We would roll a random D2. You would just say, okay, this guy's going to be 1 and this guy's going to be number 2. So we have to determine what this guy's going to do and what this guy's going to do. This guy could try to run away. He could try to concentrate fire, which might alter what some of the information on the board is what's happening here. I'm just trying to catch up on the rule book at what was going on. So we have to determine, first of all, is this guy going to activate first or is this guy going to activate? So we're just going to say this guy's 1, this guy is 2, and we're going to draw a card. I look under the 2, and it's a 2. So we would look at this guy first. So this guy is he is pinned under cover. So we look and see what he's going to do. And again, we just draw the 4. And the 4 represents no action. So he's going to keep doing what he's doing. Which he is shooting at these guys over in this space over here. Actually, this I think flips over. Whoops. We can rotate that around. And what I might want to do is move this card a little bit Seems like it's a little close there. And then we'll lock it back up. And the other thing I might want to do, because it's been a long time, is save. Save, just in case something happens and we crash, which has been known to happen to me. All right, go away. Thanks. Did you save the game? Great. Save and then go away. All right. All right. So we did all that. So we checked this guy first. Now we check this guy. He's only got the deliberate hierarchy. Which again, over here, you would look down this column to see what he might do. Not under fire, but has a valid target along his PDF. So he's not under fire, but has a valid target along his PDF. So he's going to roll a random 2. So he's either going to do no action and just keep doing what he's doing, or he's going to try to grenade us or concentrate firepower. So we're going to roll a random 2. So we'll draw a random 2. All right, and so we will draw a 1 or 2. A random 2 is a 2. So again, a random 2 for not under fire, but as a valid target along his PDF. A 2 out of 2 is he's going to try and do a grenade attack or concentrated fire. All right, so some of the actions on the enemy hierarchy chart have a more detailed explanation on the left-hand side to tell us what to do. In this case, grenade attack or concentrate fire. Have the unit attempt to make a grenade attack if possible. Well, this unit does not have a grenade attack. So it'll try to make a concentrated firepower attack. So we will try to do that. So the rules are exactly the same for enemy units as your units. The German squad is going to pick a target. There can be a stack of units under cover marker or a random unit in or out of cover. If multiple targets are available, you're going to randomly select one. In this case, the only unit this enemy can see is this unit here. So we're looking at this guy. He cannot throw grenades. He doesn't have the grenade symbol on his card. So he would try to concentrate fire, and he would pick a target. Well, the only target he has is this guy, so we don't need to pick a target. There's one guy and one guy only, so he's going to concentrate fire here. But he's going to do it just like we do. We have to draw from the deck to see if we can get the sorry, reading the wrong section here. The German squad picks a target, and it can be a stack of units under one cover marker. It can be randomly if you have more than one, etc., etc. The light machine gun is the only valid target, so we're going to draw 2 cards for attempt, and he's going to try to get the crosshairs to see if he can get us. And we will ignore that one because in our example, Jesus. 1. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You can't ever get it when you need it, and now it's coming out like 5 times in a row. Oh my god, like every one of these cards? Are you kidding me? So let's try again. 2 cards. 1, 2. We'll try one more time, because I want to get the result. 1, 2. Oh my god, I cannot fail this check for some reason. Are you kidding me? Try again. 1, 2. Oh, yay. Finally, after the 17th time, he didn't spot us. Or not spot us, but in this case, he didn't get his concentrated firepower attack. So he fails his check to try and get the concentrated fire. Have the unit attempt to concentrate fire. That's what we just did. He was unable to do it, so that it doesn't change. Everything stays the same. He's going to continue shooting his small arms on our machine gun here. All right. That was kind of a lengthy section. We're all the way up to page 44 of the rule book, but if you're following along. All right. Next section. We don't have any of this. We don't have any retreats. We don't have any combats. Fire mission updates. Oh yeah, we do have one of those now, don't we? Yes, we do. So this bad boy, where are you? Oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. That comes out. That's super good, because when that comes out, the German machine gun loses sight outside of his hex. So if there was a unit in his hex, he would continue firing at him, but there is no unit in his hex. So this goes away. He no longer is attacking us over here, which is a great thing, because our platoon headquarters is over here and our forward observer is over here. That would be very bad. All right, as noted on the sequence of play, anytime anything happens on the map outside of the combat segment, you must reevaluate all PDF markers, and volume of fire markers must be immediately checked and adjusted if necessary. So all these things that happen outside of the combat resolution phase of the turn, you must reevaluate all the PDFs. So that's why understanding and knowing when things happen and following along is very important, right? So remove existing incoming airstrike and white phosphorus missions and VOF markers, pending markers to their active sides. Then we will do the potential contact evaluations. Oh, we don't have any of those in this. Pin recovery. So anyone that is no longer under a volume of fire will no longer be pinned. So this casualty here, that is with our first platoon, our first couple squad 2 and 3, team 2 and 3 in first squad. That's what I meant to say. Holy cow. Is no longer pinned. I think that was the only one. This guy would be no longer pinned. But guess what? He's under fire. He's gonna stay pinned. I believe that is the only markers that we have. Smoke and various fire missions block line of sight. Units can fire into a card with smoke and incoming marker, but not through it to another card and beyond. All units cannot fire out of a card at all. There are no potential markers to evaluate, and the pin segment is what we just did. Oh, it looks like our unit would have been unpinned earlier. I must have missed that. I apologize. All right, combat effect segments. Here we go. So, we'll take these top to bottom, left to right. So the first one is going to be this guy here. Boom, boom, boom. He is, yeah, you don't longer have the volume of fire incoming weapons because we have the incoming here. So he's in a foxhole, which gives him a +1. He's also pinned, so that's a +1. So he's a +2. He's a -3 for the incoming. And he's a -1 for the crossfire. And no terrain. So he's a -4 +2. So he's a -2. So -3 and -1 is -4. And then +2. So where he's a -2. Alright, so -2 is pretty good. Maybe we'll get rid of this guy. So as a note, when you have more than one volume of fire affecting a card, you have automatic weapons and incoming. Only the most powerful volume of fire is used in the calculation. After deciding which volume of fire to use, apply all of the modifiers to the terrain, the crossfire, the pin, the exposed markers, the cover markers, etc. Alright, so let's get the -2. Let's look under -2 and see if we can get rid of this bad boy. And we got him. -2's a hit. -2's a hit. So the enemies are always lined. In this case, he's a line unit. So we're going to draw a card until I get one that matches the results, which could take a while because there's a lot of results, but fortunately it only took us a couple cards. Again, you would only draw one card, flip it up, see what the result is, but I'm trying to match what happens in page, what are we at, 44, the rule booklet. He's going to end up getting a P result, actually a double P result, but since there's only one. No, he does get a PP result. That means up to 2 steps have become paralyzed. Since the light machine gun only has 1 step, as you can see, it only has one little dot there. It only has 1 step on it. We can ignore the second P. So this guy is going to be replaced with a... No, it's not going to be the assault team. We know that. We're going to change his state to a... The inner team. No. Worse. Keep going. Paralyzed. That's what I'm talking about. And of course, anytime you take a hit, you also remain, you also get pinned as well. So he's pinned in the foxholes, and he's now a paralyzed team. Paralyzed team is a generic team. There is no way for the light machine gun to ever recover. Assume that the main weapon of this light machine gun has been destroyed. The remaining crew are doing their best to survive. This team also remains pinned. All pin results are all hit results also result in a pin. Now we have to check our little guy here. He is a volume of fire is 0. He is a +2 +1. We take the +2. There's rules for when to use the +1. In this case, we don't have to worry about that. It would have to, the firepower would have to come across here. It's not coming across the white territory. It's coming across the green. So we get a +2 and a -2 and a small arms of 0. So we're right at +2, -2, 0 for the firepower. So it's right at the 0, right in the mid, right in the middle. All right, now we're going to draw a 0 and see if we can get the right result. We did! Pin result. Yes, sirree. We got pinned. All right. And again, that's not a bad result, actually. It's not the worst, especially since this guy, well, he is shooting. So, all right, so let's think about that, right? So we talked about this earlier when this machine gun was pinned. I said when all firepower coming in is from pinned units, you switch over to that marker, which is this one right here. Where are you? Oh, buddy. For some reason, it's going to do this. So you would change over to this if all firepower coming in is from pinned units. All right, we place the pin marker on the unit, and pin units don't fire as well. So his firepower would be pin +2, but fortunately we have small arms fire from these guys down here coming in, so we're not going to worry about that. We're going to change it to small arms fire would be the firepower that our units would come in. Right now there's a massive mortar barrage coming, but it might not be there next turn. If it's not there, then we'll have to use small arms fire from these guys, assuming they're continuing to fire. Alright, cleanup phase. All of our exposed markers go away. I'm just going to throw those over here so I don't hit the wrong button. This guy is exposed. These guys are exposed. We had a lot of exposure that time. Okay, we do actually that. Yeah, as soon as that is over, as soon as this is over, I think it goes away. So that would go away once the attack is over. And so we would replace the best attack coming in. And the best attack coming in right now is small arms from these guys down here. Right? So, so these guys are putting some small arms fire over here. And these guys are pinned, so they're not as good as our small arms fire. Cardboard Commander, hey, seems like Fields of Fire is all the rage. I've not caught the bug yet. Ha ha ha, thanks for doing the videos. You got it, my friend, you got it. I mean, maybe it's taken me years to get to the point now where I'm at comfortable with understanding the basics. I'm not even, like, when you're talking about, like, helicopters or anything, weird like that. Vehicles, I've never used a vehicle in my entire lifetime, so if a mission had a vehicle, I would have to, like, pull out the rules. So that's why I'm going through this. Alright, so at the end of the phase, we are going to small arms fire. Exposure markers are all off. This would result, actually, in as soon as this attack goes away and the dust clears, then these guys start shooting again, right? So the result of the mortar section in row 1 opened fire on the German paralyzed team in row 2. What happened to, oh, there they are, paralyzed team in row 2. So these guys here in the mortar section would open up fire over here and start lobbing grenades, mortars, over on top of their head to try and kill them. And so, if that's the case, And then we're gonna need to bring out the big boys, heavy weapons. -3. They are a heavy. You can see the H is a heavy weapon. So now instead of small arms fire, because these guys again, there is no fire command, right? These guys automatically go, oh shit, there's guys over there. Let's get them. Now we can cancel that order. In a normal mission, you might want to do that because of limited ammo and stuff. I'm just following along in the rule booklet and giving you the information. So, that's the end of turn 2. The command markers would reset. We would move on to turn 3. Turn 3. These would flip over. And this would go away. We would go to turn 3, and we would continue playing from turn 3. But that is all that the book represents. It's giving you the basics to have you understand a few new things and having you try it yourself. But I am not going to continue doing that. All right, so it says continue with this run and try to destroy the remaining units. In turn 3, you may be able to try to evacuate the casualties by moving them to the casualty collection points, which new thing we did this time. The transporting unit can drop them off automatically when they get there without having to use an additional command. You can attempt to capture the paralyzed unit on the hill by moving units there, as per the capture instruction sequence of play, although with an enemy bunker facing that direction, it's not going to be easy. Yes, we have a bunker that's positioned to look right on that hill. So if we try to capture guys, that would not be a good thing. So you might want to get your platoon headquarters back here, get some more squads up, move the whole platoon up there, and then start moving different teams and different squads into these 2 locations. Because this thing is only going to be able to shoot this hex, and that's it. That is this and only this. It can't shoot past this because of the hail effect. So, once we get this machine gun to concentrate fire, just like we did with this machine gun, we're going to try to surround it. Try to use our mortar forward observers and our mortar sections, our heavy mortars, to kind of flank these units and call down firepower on them, and then try to obliterate them with using our forces from multiple different directions. You can see it can be done, as we did a great job of taking this guy out. We did take one little casualty here, but that's pretty good when we take one little casualty of a team compared to the squad of machine gun. I would give up a team to take out a squad of machine gun anytime. Our machine gun over here is still under fire, but it is small arms fire, and now they're actually in a really good position because they're a +2. And they're going to be a +1 for being pinned. So they're a +3, and they're only a -0. So they're going to be on the +3 column now, as opposed to the 0 column. So they're going to be able to stay there and maybe spot that unit. And once they can, if we can get our platoon headquarters to come up here and tell them to shift fire and tell them to, if we can get somebody to spot this unit, that would be awesome. I don't think teaching players to move the platoon headquarters up there is probably the best maneuver, to be honest. I think they were trying to show certain things in the example of play, because literally you have all these guys back here that can't do anything. And so we spend an order to bring this guy up, then we're going to spend an order to bring him back. It would be much better, and I think they've talked about this, to have a platoon move and move all the platoon up there. And it costs you 2 actions instead of having to move up the headquarters, move them back, tell a squad to move up, tell another squad to move up, tell another squad to move up, and then move up itself. You can see, instead of spending 5 or 6 orders, we're just spending 2 orders. Now, obviously, you don't want to do that if that card is under fire, but the guy that was shooting at it is no longer around. So I think, sending your headquarters back and getting these guys moving up here, because we only have 10 turns. We only have 10 turns to get this done. All right, so continue with this run and try to destroy the remaining units. In turn 3, you will be able to evacuate the casualties by moving them to the collection action point. Then when they get there, they will, without having to use an additional action, they'll automatically, you could attempt to capture the paralyzed unit on the hill. Oh, that's right. We did that. So I don't know. Getting this guy off the hill is going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem. Because this guy is, this bunker with this machine gun is, and this is open terrain. It's not going to be pretty. Just not. So what we could do is, ways to deal with that, right? Is get our forward artillery to start bringing down some artillery here. Again, the great thing about artillery, where is my artillery pending mission, right? Is once that mission arrives, they can't shoot out of there. So if I move a bunch of guys in there and this guy starts opening fire on them, as soon as we drop this mission down on him, he can't see out anymore. Sorry, you can't shoot him. Haha. So once we put this guy under fire, then maybe we can try to take out this guy and move in there. Okay. All right. So then it recommends in the rules, once you get comfortable with doing this, try and run this with the potential context system, A, B, and C, which we looked at last time, and putting those on the different rows. And that, my friends, besides the fact that it gives you some more information about how to set up the potential contacts, looks like you're going to put 4 random A's and 4 random B's. 1, 2, 4, 8, and you're going to put those on, you're going to end up with 4 random A's and 4 random B's. 1, 2, 3, 4, you got 1B, 2B, 3B, 4B, flip them all over, there you go, and you're going to shuffle them up. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Boom, boom, boom. And then you're going to put those units out in rows 2 and 3. And then your job is to obviously clear out all those potential contacts. Obviously, then that means there wouldn't be any enemies on the board, and you would have to find them. You'd have to find them. Find them. There you go. So that is the basics for this, and kind of an overview of some more advanced stuff, and hopefully that was helpful for you guys. I think that is the end of this rule booklet. Yeah, I think it is. So then in rule booklet number 2, they get into more advanced stuff. So this is kind of, if you wanted to play what I would say like Fields of Fire Light, this is kind of like Fields of Fire Light. If you want like less rules, more manageable, easier to get into, still interesting but not over complex. This is what I would say. This I would do scenarios like similar to this. just a couple, couple rows, a couple potential contacts. You don't need to take 3 full platoons. Just take a couple platoons, a company headquarters. If you want to get fancy, give yourself the XO or the first sergeant if you feel comfortable with maybe adding some extra staff in. This is all about trying to get you up from point A to point B, where you're trying to play the full game of Fields of Fire with all the rules. And the only way to get you to play the full rules is to get you to understand some of the rules as you learn and play. We have not even talked about potential headquarters for both sides. That's a very easy thing, but you add that in. We have not talked about AT combat and vehicle movement. That's another thing you could add in. Adding in some staff, right? So we just talked about adding in the XO. You could give the XO a mortar section. Give the XO a mortar section. Tell the XO, get my mortar section up there and let's go. So there's a lot of different things. Then you can start adding in some pyrotechnics, smoke, which has different commands associated with the different colors. You can add in green units and veteran units, and then when you really get into it, you can add in the old radio system, which is about how people communicate back and forth, especially in World War II, where the radios were not very good. So, having a headquarters too far behind doesn't allow them to communicate with the company headquarters anymore, because they're not in radio communication anymore, because maybe the headquarters is now like undercover in the trench. Like once you're in a trench in the old World War II, once you're in a undercover, they couldn't communicate because of the bad connections. There is a whole radio wire line thing as well you can get into. Oh boy, well, I'm sure there's a scenario in there about setting up radio wires and the radio lines, because that's important. Keeping everyone in communications. No, anyone can spot. Anyone can spot. You can have anyone to spot, but you have to have a command to spot. So, or a general command. So like this guy that was up here, right? We had him use a general command to try and spot this German up here. So anyone can spot, but you have to be commanded to spot. So if the headquarters is here, he could tell this guy, okay, you try to spot this guy. Nope, you can't do it. All right, maybe I'll have, let's say, first platoon or first squad of second platoon was up here. We'll have this guy try to spot. Nope, we fail. Well, we'll have this guy try and spot. See if he can spot. So you just have to be ordered to do things. That's kind of the one thing you have to wrap your head around is, besides opening for fire, everyone has to be commanded to do something. As soon as somebody sees somebody, they shoot. Whether you want them to or not, they start shooting. You read the text wrong. Okay. No problem at all. No problem at all. So that is kind of a wrap up here. We've got to get going here. So I wanted to just give you my general thoughts about things, and if you're going to continue this scenario, what you can expect, and my thoughts about ways to complete it. I think it's obviously very doable, and you can play this over again where that bunker, right? That bunker could be like over here, and it could be like facing straight down, which is rotating to the right. So the machine gun here is going to be shooting down this way. And, you know, this fire was kind of blocked from this hill being here. But now that he's on the hill, this machine gun can shoot over this and into this space here. So this is a very dangerous row now because of the different position the bunker's in. It's got long range, so it can shoot right over this hill or over the gully because of the hill. Shoots over the gully and into the open woods or into the open fields. So lots of different variations on just randomization of where the enemies show up. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let me know if you have any thoughts, questions, comments down in the comments section down below, and I will try to answer all the questions. Until then, my friends, you take care of yourselves. Thanks so much for coming by. We'll see you later. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.